Hey there, hi there, ho there, folks. This one's a talkie. So this is a fancy GM's travel case I modified out of an old wooden art case. But there's been some changes since then. I've swapped D&D and Savage Worlds for Tiny D6. I have less clutter now, but I have some bigger accessories to fit in it. This top hidden compartment used to hold my 5th edition DM screen. Now it can hold the Tiny D6 rulebook and the adventure that's going to come along with this, which I still have to write. Fortunately, when I put this thing together, I had the idea that this was all going to change. So I used PVA, or white glue, school glue. Water reactivates that glue, and it'll let me take out the felt and the dividers. I don't need this many accessories anymore, but I do need room for the folding heck board. First, I want to put some felt on the door to the top compartment to help keep things in the main compartment where they ought to be. Off to the left, you can see some counters that I had made for Savage Worlds. I used a bunch of 1-inch wooden discs, painted them black, then I did a printout, punched them out with a hole punch, and glued the printout onto the wooden discs, but I don't need them anymore. I'm using a clear version of the PVA glue, which is why I'm always hesitant to calling it white glue, because it comes in clear. I started applying the water with a brush, but I quickly found out that was too slow and the felt was a little hesitant to absorb the water, so eventually I just started squirting it straight from the bottle onto it. I can reuse these. And the secret to ultimate measuring is eyeball it. Bet you didn't know I had a mallet, did you? If I paint 3 figures of each race, I will have this many figures of these sizes. Will they all fit in the side tray? Yeah, with room to spare, and yeah, I know I missed a couple. I'm checking to see if my terrain will fit in the lower tray. I'm also checking to see how much I can fit between the terrain, the shadow cast, and the monsters. What I can fit down here will determine what my adventure will be about. So it turns out I only need to adjust the bars really on the top tray. It doesn't take much glue to hold these in. For the dividers, I'm going to cut strips of felt 1 3/8 inch thick. If you make your marks with a Sharpie like I do, just make sure to glue the Sharpie side down when you're putting the felt in. It occurs to me that the other side of this cover hatch isn't pulling its weight. How about I turn it into a wet dry erase board for notes? I'll even mount a dry erase pen on the top like a clipboard. So I'll measure out the space. I don't want the whole board to be white. I lay down some masking tape and I paint the inside line with some black. Technically I should be doing it with a very dark brown, but I'm just going to do it with black. What this is going to do is it's going to let that paint bleed under the tape, and because it's a very close match to what's already down there, it'll hide any more paint bleeding. It'll plug up those gaps. It mostly worked. I've thinned the white paint to make sure the paint dries as flat as possible. This is going to take a lot of coats. Wait, what am I doing? This is ugly. I can do better than this. I'm going to try my hand at painting something that looks like parchment. Let's start off with a base of mustard yellow. After I get a good coat laid down, I wet stipple gray, golden brown, and more mustard yellow and start blending them together, but not too much. Now, the internet told me that an acrylic gloss varnish would make this a wet/dry erase surface. The internet lied. But I have a plan B. And now I'm going to cut a piece of Velcro and use it to attach a dry erase marker to the top of the board. This is self-adhesive laminating sheets. They come in 9x12. You can get them off of Amazon. I typically buy them from Office Depot. But you can cut them to size, peel off the back, stick them down, and boom, you do have a wet/dry erase surface.